Haute couture is about avant-garde experimentation and excess, but sometimes it's also a quest for meaning. For Dior's winter offering for 2019-2020, the fashion powerhouse chose to reveal its collection in the label's historic HQ on Paris's Avenue Montaigne.
I think that couture has always been about telling a story and people just being embraced in this fantasy world. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now. And I know that this is where Monsieur Dior used to have his shows, so I'm pumped, I'm excited.
First impressions are disorienting. The fashion house is decked floor to ceiling with works by feminist British artist Penny Slinger.
She is the Shakti, which is the positive feminine force, who is both graceful, gentle, but also very powerful and imbued with great inner strength.
Maria-Grazia Chiuri's main inspiration for this collection was the writings of Austrian-American architect Bernard Rudofsky. Rudofsky was a well-known curator at New York's Museum of Modern Art in the 1950s and was actually against the idea of fashion appearing in museum collections, deeming it insufficiently timeless.
I think that his approach was very critical because it was another historical moment. But now in couture is the only space where really you can try to make something timeless. But Rudofsky was the architect that in some way defined the idea of a Mediterranean style of life. This idea to be in contact with the natural element, to live in a style of life and an habitat that help you to feel well is very strong.
Also providing a source of inspiration, the huge stone sculptures of women that hold up classical buildings around the world, and particularly in ancient Greece.
This couture is a moment more intimate. You work with the atelier, so you reflect about every single step, because honestly, sometimes we don't pass enough the message that behind fashion there is, and clothes, there are projects, not only fantasy, but is a really complex project.
I just felt it was very dramatic. I felt it was very just like a, you know, with the music and the storm clouds and the water, and it just felt like a very sort of dramatic and emotional show. It wasn't just about pretty clothes, but had a sort of story, which I loved. And I think for me, it's so much about how femininity and being a woman is also about being strong. You know, the looks were so beautiful and magical and sometimes ethereal, but also had a strength to them. A structure to them, and so that combination is a woman.
And finally, an ensemble that hints at the fate that awaits Dior's home at 30 Avenue Montaigne. Soon it will close its doors for one whole year as the site is destroyed and built anew. Time now to head to the capital's Expiatoire Chapel, built on the site where Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were buried after meeting their end at the guillotine. In an attempt to encourage new fashion blood coming up through the ranks, the Federation for Haute Couture and Fashion has offered young designers the chance to display their unique creations. Clara Daguin's come up with a light-emitting outfit that responds to audio stimulus.
It's inspired by sound waves. That's the basis for design. It took a little over 3,000 hours of embroidery and a lot of pearl fringing. There are 8 circuits in total, 265 LEDs. That's the scientific part of it, and it's being modeled by my sister.
And the family affair doesn't stop there. Her dad programmed the electrics.
Haute couture is art and fashion combined. It's a way of expressing yourself freely, without the constraints of ready-to-wear. It's pure expression.
In an amphitheatre at Paris's Beaux-Arts Institute, 3 women each prepared to put on and then take off simple men's white shirts. These 17 items are the work of fashion historian and artistic director Olivier Saillard, as part of a Moda Povera project created with the help of students at the prestigious School of Decorative Arts.
When you see Marilyn Monroe wearing a man's shirt in bed, I think that's extremely sensual. And we tried here to make them even more so. These shirts are 8 times XL, and you can buy them online for not too much money. We wanted to show that you can achieve something really different with this classic item. Using the techniques of haute couture, I try to bring a new life to clothes I love.
We each interpret the shirts and the space. It's about our individual sensuality. It's improvisation. By knowing each other well, we can follow one another instinctively. We're not organized. It's him who puts it all together. We just let ourselves be carried away.
A vision of haute couture not only as extravagance, but also as essential vision of escapism.